And our last speaker from the floor is Ms. Joanne Lim-Pousard from the United States, where she is a senior manager of the Employee HIV/AIDS program at the Levi Strauss and Company.
Thank you. Thank you. It is a privilege to be here to represent Levi Strauss and our employees. There's been some discussion of late of private and public partnerships really briefly in this room, and I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more about that. Since our response began in 1982, we have always felt that a critical role of business sector is to join in the fight against this pandemic. The commercial sector is, after all, an employer. It is an influencer of culture, it is a donor partner, and it is also a policy advocate. As an employer, we are in a unique position not only to provide life-saving HIV/AIDS information to our employees, but access as well. We found in our experience of developing and delivering HIV/AIDS workplace and treatment programs that ensure our employees and families are treated with dignity depends on many factors and many partners. We've worked with NGOs at the local level to ensure that relevant and culturally appropriate education is provided to our employees at that level. We also work in partnership with labor to meet the needs and to ensure that the voice of our workers are met. And I wanted to second Jan's recommendation about the ILO recommendation of HIV in the workplace, as that is an actionable item, and encourage that it be added to the declaration. We also depend on a supportive legal framework that allows our employees freedom of travel and to move across borders freely to do the basics of their jobs, as well as looking to governments to provide and ensure confidentiality and equal opportunity employment in the workplace. While we have our internal policies, we are dependent on the laws of the countries to uphold them as well. Our response to HIV began almost 30 years ago, and we have since learned that a sustained and authentic business response goes well beyond initial commitment. And I just wanted to close with just a couple of learnings we've had. I've heard the emphasis on grooming young people and young leaders, but I also wanted to emphasize that we not only need to groom young leaders in the NGO sector and the government sector, but also young business leaders, as they will be the voice that will carry this movement into the future. They will also be the decision makers of major corporations and will be the decision makers around CSR initiatives and bringing that into the future. And we've also heard from Chris earlier this morning about the need to look at new channels, and we echo that sentiment and looking into new ways that we can reach our consumer base and not just our employees. And finally, just to wrap up really quickly, we need to take a value chain perspective and looking at not just our direct impact on the people we work with, and in my case it is our own employees, but to look at our suppliers and to share best practices across them as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.